All right, and we're back for the second half, Buck, and we're going to go right into it from CNN.com. One killed after teens take turns shooting each other wearing body armor, Florida police say. Of course, this happened in Bellevue, Florida, and you know what that means, Buck.
Florida man, does whatever the fuck he can. Makes headlines every time. Florida's paradigm. Look out! Here comes Florida man.
Indeed, here comes Florida man. And while I'm trepidatious to say Florida man, because these are on the younger side, this screams a Florida story. You could tell me this story, and I would have no idea where it was at if you took out all the stuff and told me, and you asked me what state this happened in, I would say Florida. As one teenager is dead after at least two teens took turns shooting each other while wearing body armor. On April 3rd, the Bellevue Police Department received a call for a shooting at a residence. When they arrived, they found 16-year-old Christopher Leroy Broad Jr. had been shot. He was transported to a local hospital where he died. The medical examiner's office said the cause of Broad's death was a single gunshot wound to the chest, and the manner of the death was listed as a homicide, according to a probable cause affidavit. During the investigation into the shooting, BPD discovered evidence to prove, I don't know what the heck that means, that Joshua Vinning, 17, had shot and killed Broad. Vinning was arrested Thursday and charged with aggravated manslaughter of a child with a firearm. Throughout the investigation, it was determined that Vinning and Broad were taking turns shooting at each other while wearing a vest which contained a form of body armor. Vinning shot at Broad while he was wearing the vest, and he was struck. Police said when they arrived, they found Vinning doing CPR on Broad, according to the probable cause affidavit. The second teenager gave police misleading information about the incident and was charged with providing false information to law enforcement. In the affidavit, police said that the third teenager told them he had video recorded both shootings using Snapchat on his iPhone, saving the video as Vinning being shot, but deleted video of Broad being shot. A technician was able to recover the shooting of Broad, according to the affidavit. Both Vinning and the second teen face charges of providing false information to law enforcement and are being charged as adults. CNN has not been able to determine if either have legal representation at this time and could not reach them for comment. Vinning posted a $30,000 bond on April 8th, according to the Marion County Sheriff's Office. The second teen was released on a $1,000 surety bond on April 8th, according to the county inmate search. Bellevue is located roughly 65 miles northwest of Orlando.
Holy shit, man. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
I mean, this is like the epitome of a stupid game right here. I mean,
that is just... Wow, man. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we're laughing. I am making fun of this. But the truth is, there's a 16-year-old child, I mean, that is dead.
That he's just a kid, man.
He's dead.
It's a kid. It's just a kid.
He's dead.
Yep, gone.
Now, granted, the 16-year-old shot the 17-year-old first. It just so happened that the body armor worked in that scenario. They're actually not... We like to refer to them as bulletproof vests. They're not. The correct term is bullet resistant. They are not. Yeah. They're not foolproof, folks. They are not foolproof. They help. They are uncomfortable. They are hot, and they smell. Oh Lord, do they smell? But the correct terminology is bullet resistant, not bulletproof. The same thing. There's a lot of miswording, like with tasers. People go, that's a non-lethal. No, it's less lethal. It can still be lethal. They've never said it wasn't. It's just less lethal than a bullet.
Right.
And that and the other thing you got to remember about bullet-resistant vests, they only work once. Once you use one, once it takes a bullet, or if it even gets wet, like overly saturated, not just from sweat and whatnot, but if it actually gets wet, it can compromise the Kevlar. But once it takes a bullet, that's it. That is done. You need to replace it because it can only work once reliably.
Yeah, and you know what? And like you said, it's not foolproof, and these fools are proof. Like that's just play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I don't want to speak ill of the dead. You know, there I will say that, I do not believe that there was any malice involved. I really think that this is just really stupid behavior. And as a result,
So,
somebody is now just completely dead. And I don't think that they set out like Alexander Hamilton and Burr. Like I don't think that's the way they were out there with this bullet resistant or bulletproof vest or bullet, whatever you want to call it. That's why I'm saying I'm not trying to minimize it or be diminutive. I'm trying to say that like I'm just very hesitant to sit here and joke about somebody being dead. Um,
so
it's a 5 all day long.
it's a
I
five.
mean, I'm
It's a
not. I'm,
5. But do you
that's
also
that's
remember?
that's that's the bottom line.
So when we worked in the prison system together, do you? We've discussed this in ad nauseum. Everyone knows this by now. If you don't, sorry, but we're going to go into it again. You were a hostage negotiator, and I was on the CERT team, which Correctional Emergency Response Team. It's basically a SWAT team inside of a prison. I can't think of any other way to describe it than that. Do you remember when we got a new warden who thought he was God's gift to corrections? And also God's gift to secretaries because he was always trying to fuck them. But he thought he was God's gift to corrections, and he was going to show everyone how a CERT team should operate. And he decided, I've got a splendid idea. Let's take beanbag rounds, which can shatter bones on a good day, or on a bad day, depending on how you look at it, and we're going to shoot each other in the legs with it. Because that's a great idea, point blank. But you can take one of these bullet-resistant vests, wrap it around your thigh. I'm going to walk up 1 foot away and shoot you in the thigh with this son of a bitch. And everybody on the CERT team, because they're mindless idiots, lined up to do it, except for yours truly, who said, thank you, fuck you, bye. and,
I do remember that.
and the entire CERT team, for like a month, some of them had to go to the hospital. Other ones were limping, probably still limping to this day. Hell, I don't know. So, stupidity is not wasted on the young. We have grown-ass adults who are just as stupid out there. I said, don't blame it on don't blame it on youth. Blame it on lunacy.
No, in most situations, you're right. Stupidity is not unilateral.
Stupidity is not age dependent. Okay, moving on. Moving on to our featured story, Buck. And this is one I found. I actually tried to reach out to the people that are in this story, and I didn't get a response in time for recording. If I do get a response later on, we are going to have a comeback to this. Young Canadiens fan forced to leave Leafs game after Suzuki gifts him a stick. Are you a hockey fan, Buck?
No.
Okay.
No, not.
Admittedly, I do not follow the game. I don't know much about it. I know it's on ice. I know the basics, but I couldn't tell you rules. I couldn't define what icing is. There's a whole lot I couldn't tell you. That being said, one of my favorite things that, if you ever need like a warm fuzzy, is to find cool interactions between athletes and fans, especially young fans. This had the potential to be one of those, and it's not any fault of the player, but it did not turn out that way. There are a few sights in hockey more heartwarming than interactions between fans and players during pregame warm-ups. Young fans line up against the glass, hoping to catch the attention of their heroes for a chance at a wave, a gifted puck, or even a selfie. However good-natured and touching these exchanges are, they can sometimes take an unexpected turn for the worse. Prior to the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-2 win over the Montreal Canadiens at Scotiabank Arena on Saturday, Habs forward Nick Suzuki found a young admirer with a sign asking him for a selfie and a puck. Suzuki happily complied with the latter, but the fan unfortunately missed the catch and caught the puck in the mouth, resulting in a bloody lip and a few tears. Have you ever held a hockey puck?
Yes, and they are beefy.
They
Like
are.
that's nothing. That's nothing. That like I hate to use it as a pun, but it really is something that you need to shake a stick at. Like that's why they don't play hand like hockey with your hands. I mean, like those things are they're capable. They shatter glass, man.
Yeah, they're actually very heavy and they're very thick. They're made of rubber, but they're not nothing to joke about. Well, it gets worse. Feeling bad for the because what he did was he chucked it up over the glass, and when the kid tried to catch it, when it came down, it caught him in the mouth. So feeling bad for the awkward result of his good deed, Suzuki posed for a picture with the boy. Hunter signed his puck and offered him a stick. Unfortunately, Hunter and his father were both dealt another blow when Scottbank Arena staff told the two they were not allowed to have the stick with them in the stands, and they would have to leave the game if they wanted to keep Suzuki's gift. Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment provided their side of the story on Monday, telling JSN's John Liu that security approached the father and son in the concourse within 10 minutes remaining in the third period and offered to check the stick until after the game, but they decided to leave under their own volition. Those responding to Steve's tweets expressed confusion and regret about the incident, wishing Hunter the best after his eventful evening in Toronto. And there's a lot going on there about Twitter. In the end, things didn't turn out too bad for Hunter. The Canadiens offered to send him a sweater of their favorite player, while Suzuki and the team have extended an invite for them as a guest at Saturday's game against the Washington Capitals. The story's been updated since I picked it up. At the time that the arena had not responded about or made a comment about anything, but from what the father was saying on Twitter, they actually came up and said they either had to give them the stick or they had to leave because it was considered a weapon, and they couldn't allow them to be in the stands with a weapon. The player who inadvertently hurt this child gave him a gift of a hockey stick at a hockey game. And your first instinct as security is, that could be used as a weapon. That child might hit somebody with that stick. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's like if somebody tried to take the stick and use it as a weapon against somebody else. But again, we're at a hockey game. I'm in a wheelchair. Let me tell you what, if I saw some dude try to manhandle a stick away from a kid at a hockey game and I were anywhere where I could put myself, I'd just park in front of the dude. I'd try to create myself a block. Like there'd be a social outcry of people just swarming this dude. Like nobody's going to use that stick as a weapon. Nobody's going to take a stick from a kid and be able to use it as a weapon. If somebody tries, the whole crowd will flip on them. And you know it. And you know it. And you know it. You just doubt me for 1 second, man. Like, play the devil's advocate if you want to, but think about it. At a hockey game, you Raz, if you saw some dude manhandle a stick away from a kid and then try to run off and like do something else with it, you'd be all over that. And we both know it.
You know, it was funny. One time I was at a baseball game because baseball is my jam. I went to it's not minor league, it's independent league, but just so you understand, game, and I was sitting in the outfield, literally sitting in the outfield. This stadium was pretty cool. It had in center field, it was grass, and you could go out there and just sit. And we were up on the hill sitting, and I was leaning against the fence, just kind of chilling. I had my dogs. They called it the dog days of summer. You could take your dog to the park. They called it the bark in the park. And a home run ball came in, and I'd never gotten a home run ball. And I was like, this is amazing. Here it comes. And boom, it hit right in front of me, bounced up, got it in my hands. I'm like, yes, this is awesome. Dog's like, hey, that's a ball. I want a ball. I'm like, no, you can't have the ball. And the next thing I know, this kid comes running up, and he's looking for the ball. And I'm like, shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave the kid the ball, you know, and it was just like, oh, that sucked. But at least the kid's happy, you know. That being said,
Do you remember my prized foul ball?
well, hang on. I'll get to your foul ball. 'Cause your foul ball was the tits. Um, the general manager, who I didn't know at the time, I ended up meeting him later on in subsequent years and got to know him. But the general manager happened to be just walking around, and he walked up and said, "Hey, what do you know that kid?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, so he goes, so I'm glad you brought your dog to the park. Yeah, I work here. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's, you know, thanks for guys for doing this. This is cool. He comes back about 10 minutes later and gives me a ball. I found out later he was the general manager, which was kind of cool. So I did get a game ball. Subsequently, going to that stadium a lot. I actually have a lot of balls from that stadium. But the ball that you got, do you still have it?
I don't. I don't know if the ex does though. I doubt it. You know, she was entitled to that thing dead to rights.
Yeah, because we were sitting in right field. It was a preseason game, so there was almost nobody there.
We weren't even sitting.
No, it was.
We weren't even sitting.
It was free to get in, and we were just kind of hanging out along the first baseline, and
No, she was pushing me, man. She was pushing me, and she was bitching about having to push me. She's like, "Can't you push yourself? It was too hot outside. I couldn't move my arms very well." I was really like, it was just too hot.
Yeah.
And she was bitching about having to push me.
But we were,
and then
I'm just
all
telling
of a
you,
sudden,
we were just hanging out on the right field line.
Yeah.
And a guy shanks a ball, and line drives her right in the fucking chest.
Yeah. Man, it was just, it was, I don't want to say what I have to say about that on the air.
Okay, then don't.
I won't. But I'm smiling.
But here's the whole thing. Are you? I hate security guards. I always have. I hate security guards. You really want to like cuss at a CO, a corrections officer? Call him a guard. That is such an insult because guards work at the mall, and apparently guards also work at the Canadian hockey stadiums. Because this guy was an ass. Not only did
what about that, man?
Not only did this kid get hurt, which they had to have known happened. You know, the kid's sitting there with a bloody lip. And this player felt bad, so he came over into the stands to take a picture with the kid and give him his stick to apologize. You wait till 2/3 into the game, then walk up and tell them you have to take the stick from them or they have to leave. I mean, are you? If that head of security or whatever, general manager, what have you, whatever it is, if they don't fire this guy immediately, they are fools. Because this guy is a walking freaking liability.
Now, I'll tell you what, man. I'm going to put a different spin on this, all right? So guy sitting there gets caught up in the moment, and we're talking, a guy is secure, okay? Security guard's just sitting there, all cool with it. Whatever. He's like, oh, yeah, kid got a stick. He's sitting there just, vibing, enjoying the game. 2/3 of the way through, his boss comes by and sees a kid down in the front with a stick. And he looks at the security guard and he's like, no. He's got a kid with a stick in the stands. Like, kids can't have weapons. Blah, blah. Starts giving this guy the riot act. He's trying to explain it to him. And the supervisor's just a douche. And it's like, get the stick out of my stands. And then the guy's got to go down. I mean, like,
I think you're reading way too much. Again, you're giving way too much credit here.
You know what, man? I like benefit of the doubt, except for that lady who I gave a 4. She meant to use that motherfucking cat, and we both know it. But this, I can massage the limits of reality a little bit. I'm the one who's got to lay my head down on my pillow at night. But no, in all reality, I'd have to give this at least a 3.5 to a 4. I mean, like, there's no reason to behave this way, especially with little kids. I mean, like, somebody who does that with a kid probably mean to dogs. Like,
Dude, why don't you go home and kick your dog, man? It's like, bet you go home and beat your wife. I mean, it's just, come on. What a dickhead.
like he walks by a sandcastle and kicks it over at the beach. It's like, yeah, saw you working on this all day. 2/3 of the way through that. No.
What a dick. But, shout out to the team who was the away team, mind you. Maybe that's why he was such a dick about it. Trying to make things right for the family. That's cool. Appreciate that. Security guard, you get a fucking 4. Screw you all day long. What are you giving him, Buck?
I'm gonna stick with my 3.5 to 4. I'll go ahead and go up to a 4.
Okay.
I don't think this guy has any reason to be below that,
or aspirations in life for that matter. That being said, folks, that's going to bring us to an end of another episode. I am the Razgreaves with my co-host the Buck, wishing you all a happy and safe week. Make sure that you like, subscribe, do whatever it is you're doing on the platform that you happen to be listening or watching on, and tell a friend, because we need to get more listeners in here. We're just talking to ourselves. Thank you very much, folks, and you all have a happy and safe week.